Climate change is one of the biggest challenges facing our planet, and it requires collective action at all levels to address it. In this video, we've explored various aspects of climate change, including the latest research, possible solutions, the role of individual action, and the challenges and opportunities involved in financing climate action. We've seen that there are many ways in which individuals, businesses, and governments can contribute to addressing climate change, from reducing carbon emissions to advocating for policy change and investing in renewable energy. While there are certainly challenges involved, there are also many opportunities for progress and growth. It's up to all of us to take action and make a difference in creating a more sustainable and resilient future for ourselves and for future generations. One of the most important areas of climate research is the study of greenhouse gases, which are largely responsible for the warming of the Earth's atmosphere. Scientists have been able to measure the levels of these gases, including carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, in the atmosphere and have found that they have been increasing rapidly since the Industrial Revolution. This increase is primarily due to human activities, such as the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and agriculture. Another key area of research is the study of climate feedback loops, which are complex interactions between the Earth's atmosphere, oceans, land, and ice. These feedback loops can amplify or dampen the effects of climate change, and understanding them is crucial for predicting how the climate will change in the future. Some examples of feedback loops include the melting of Arctic sea ice, which exposes more dark ocean water that absorbs more heat, and the release of methane from melting permafrost, which further exacerbates global warming. One of the most significant recent findings in climate research is the extent to which human activities are responsible for the current warming trend. In a landmark report released in 2018, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, concluded that it is extremely likely 95 to 100% probability that human activities are responsible for the observed warming since the mid-20th century. This conclusion was based on a comprehensive review of the scientific literature and input from hundreds of climate scientists around the world. Despite the urgency of the situation, there is still much that scientists do not know about climate change, and ongoing research is needed to fill in these knowledge gaps. Some of the key areas of uncertainty include the exact timing and magnitude of future climate change, the impacts on ecosystems and human societies, and the effectiveness of different mitigation and adaptation strategies. Climate change is a complex and multifaceted issue, and addressing it will require a wide range of strategies and approaches. In this article, we'll take a closer look at some of the possible paths to mitigating climate change, including both policy and technological solutions. One of the most effective ways to mitigate climate change is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, particularly carbon dioxide. This can be achieved through a variety of measures, such as transitioning to renewable energy sources like solar and wind power, improving energy efficiency in buildings and transportation, and reducing emissions from industrial processes and agriculture. Many countries and regions around the world have set ambitious targets for reducing their greenhouse gas emissions, and some have already made significant progress towards these goals. Another important approach to mitigating climate change is to enhance carbon sequestration, which is the process of removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it in natural or artificial sinks. This can be done through reforestation and afforestation, which involve planting trees and other vegetation to absorb carbon dioxide, as well as through the development of carbon capture and storage, CCS, technologies that capture carbon dioxide emissions from power plants and other industrial sources and store them underground. In addition to these mitigation strategies, there are also a range of adaptation measures that can help societies and ecosystems adapt to the impacts of climate change that are already underway. These include measures such as improving water management, enhancing coastal defenses, and developing drought-resistant crops. While adaptation measures are not a substitute for mitigation, they can help reduce the severity of the impacts of climate change and increase resilience to its effects. Finally, it's worth noting that addressing climate change will require a concerted effort from all sectors of society, including government, business, and individuals. This will involve not only implementing specific policy and technological solutions, but also changing the way we live and work to reduce our carbon footprint and support sustainable practices. Mitigating climate change will require a wide range of strategies and approaches, including reducing greenhouse gas emissions, enhancing carbon sequestration, and adapting to the impacts of climate change that are already underway. Achieving these goals will require a collaborative effort from all sectors of society, and will involve both policy and technological solutions as well as changes in behavior and lifestyle. While the challenge is daunting, there are many reasons to be hopeful that we can successfully address the threat of climate change and create a more sustainable and resilient future for ourselves and for future generations. When we think about climate change, it's easy to focus on the role of governments and businesses in addressing the problem. However, individuals also have an important role to play in mitigating climate change and promoting sustainability. In this article, we'll take a closer look at the role of individual action in addressing climate change. One of the most important ways that individuals can contribute to climate action is by reducing their carbon footprint. This can be done through a variety of measures, such as driving less, using public transportation or walking, reducing energy use at home, and eating a more plant-based diet. Small changes in individual behavior can add up to significant reductions in greenhouse gas emissions. In addition to reducing their own carbon footprint, individuals can also advocate for policy and systemic changes that support sustainability and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This can involve contacting elected officials to express support for climate action, joining advocacy groups or organizations, and participating in demonstrations or rallies to raise awareness about climate change and the need for action. Another important way that individuals can contribute to climate action is by supporting sustainable businesses and practices. This can involve choosing products and services that are produced in environmentally responsible ways, supporting local and sustainable agriculture, and investing in renewable energy companies or funds. Finally, individuals can also contribute to climate action by educating themselves and others about the issue. This can involve reading up on the latest research on climate change, sharing information with friends and family, and engaging in constructive dialogue with those who may be skeptical or uninformed about the issue. Individuals have an important role to play in addressing climate change and promoting sustainability. By reducing their own carbon footprint, advocating for policy and systemic change, supporting sustainable businesses and practices, and educating themselves and others, individuals can make a significant contribution to the fight against climate change. While governments and businesses also have a critical role to play, individual action is a crucial component of the collective effort needed to create a more sustainable and resilient future for ourselves and for future generations. Climate change is one of the most pressing challenges facing our planet, and addressing it will require significant investments in both mitigation and adaptation measures. However, financing these actions can be a daunting task, and it is essential to explore the challenges and opportunities in financing climate action. In this article, we'll take a closer look at some of the key issues involved in financing climate action. One of the main challenges in financing climate action is the scale of the problem. Addressing climate change will require significant investments in a wide range of areas, from renewable energy and energy efficiency to climate adaptation and resilience measures. While some countries and regions have made progress in mobilizing funds for climate action, there is still a significant gap between the resources that are currently available and the funding needed to meet climate goals. Another challenge is the need for innovative financing mechanisms that can mobilize private sector funds and support the scaling up of climate action. This could involve the development of new financial instruments such as green bonds, which allow investors to finance climate-friendly projects while earning a financial return, or climate insurance schemes that help protect vulnerable communities from the impacts of climate change. At the same time, there are also significant opportunities in financing climate action. One of the most promising is the potential for creating green jobs and stimulating economic growth. Investments in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and climate adaptation measures can create jobs and generate economic activity, particularly in sectors such as construction, manufacturing, and renewable energy. Another opportunity is the potential for leveraging public funds to attract private sector investment in climate action. This can be done through a range of mechanisms, such as public-private partnerships or blended finance approaches that combine public and private sector funding. Financing climate action is a significant challenge, but there are also significant opportunities for mobilizing resources and scaling up investments in climate-friendly projects. Innovative financing mechanisms, such as green bonds and climate insurance, can help mobilize private sector funds and support the scaling up of climate action. Additionally, investing in climate action can create green jobs and stimulate economic growth, while leveraging public funds can attract private sector investment. By addressing the challenges and opportunities in financing climate action, we can make progress towards a more sustainable and resilient future. We hope you found this video informative and inspiring, and we encourage you to take action in whatever way you can to address climate change. Whether it's reducing your own carbon footprint, supporting sustainable businesses, or advocating for policy change, every action counts. Together, we can make a difference and create a more sustainable and resilient future for all.